Hi everyone, Miss Deborah here from the Plainsboro Library. I'm so happy to be with you today. I want to talk about sensory play and how important it is for our little ones. And I still love to engage in sensory play, as you can tell. I love to touch things, soft things, and play and have some fun with the children. And I know how important it is. So I wanted to share that information. So, my friends, we've been talking about development and play and reading to our children and the wonderful times we have engaging with our children. So, I want to go over a little bit of sensory play because we need to be reminded in the culture because we're involved with the screen so much, and our children are also becoming very involved with the screens. So, let's just think from birth until those early childhood years, children are using their senses very much to explore, as you know, their mouth, etc. And I know that's unnerving sometimes, but that's how the children learn, the babies. And they're trying to make sense of the world around them. So through touch, taste, hearing, smelling, listening, and moving and grooving, children are learning and growing. And they are retaining information, which is very important. They're retaining when they're engaged with their senses. So, if we think of our childhood and a memory of a wonderful summer night or a summer day, sometimes certain smells may remind you and take you back to that time in your life because you were engaged with your senses, and those experiences were imprinted in a very positive way in the brain and in your being. Sensory play is crucial to brain development. It helps the nerve connections in the brain's pathways. So that is very important. And I also want to let you know that sensory play also supports our cognitive growth, language development, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, social interactions, and problem solving skills. Very important for our children as we move on with a more adept curriculum with STEM as they get into the school age years. The five senses we all know, we remember touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. And we have two other senses we're going to talk about very briefly. There are two that we are thinking about now. And I'm very glad that finally we are. Body awareness, which is our proprioception, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll get into the other new sense that we're talking about. Body awareness is just really what it sounds like it is, a feedback that our brains receive from our limbs and our muscles and our joints. And body awareness helps us sense of where our bodies are in space. And that's important to think about because it's helping us to be aware of when a child might need a little help or support, particularly with early intervention and getting them help and being aware to certain needs. Some children may have some problems with their bodies in space and movement, and I'm glad that we're aware of that now. We're also going to talk about balance and the stimulation of our inner ear system to where our positioning is in space in relation to gravity is why we are talking about balance now. And that's another one of the new senses, quote unquote, that we're thinking of right now. And what is sensory play? So, what is sensory play? Let's see. Playing with our soft, little, sweet little animals is sensory play. We're not touching knobs and dials on the screen. We have a lot of other friends here at the Plainsboro Library. I know you do at home also. Playing with our homemade or other dolls, and you can make things at home so easily too. All kinds of soft things. Soft is always very good. Sensory play. Those of you who've been with me over the years and with our other programs, musical stories, etc., you know, you have your drums at home, and you know, we use containers and coffee cans. We also can take some beans, we can take some rice and put them in our little spice containers, and we could shake our sillies out, make some rhythms. Sensory play, we're going to engage our senses, touching. We're going to use our fingers. We're going to have some fine motor skills, some pincer also. Children love lacing. This is nice and big for little hands. This is pretty much kind of a preschool activity, but they love it. Then we can make the animal sounds. Then we can do some animal movements, and I do all kinds of things with the kids, and we can move on and use these as little toys in a game after we lace. They love to lace and unlace, and this is an old fashioned. You may even remember this from your childhood. This one could even be from your childhood for some of my parents. So sensory play, that's why when they're babies, don't we love these blocks? Don't they love to grab? Don't they love to touch? Very, very important. Sensory play, hold on to all these things too. We have all wood puzzles, I know, and if you can find some that have some of the animal sounds, or we make the sounds. We also want to feel the nice soft fur, the Pat the Bunny books, and all the other modern books. Very, very important for touching, making the sounds together. So we are hearing, we're using language, we're touching. That's why our little soft books are so important too. We're touching, making sounds, and it's not something that is on a screen that we're touching a knob or a mouse. We are engaged. Anytime we're engaged with our senses, anytime at home, and if you don't have a little housekeeping kit, hope you can find one for your little one, because we could sweep, we could sing. This is the way we sweep the floor. There are so many things out there now for the children, and they're engaged, their whole body, and in something like sweeping or vacuuming or play with these items, they are engaged in their balance and moving their bodies also. That's why our moving stories programs were so successful too. And any opportunity for movement and play. So, in speaking of that, I want us to think about things we did when we were little. And I want us to think about some of the activities, because we all went outside a heck of a lot more. And we all played with natural items outside, pine cones, rocks, sticks. Our children do it sometimes now, but certainly not as much. And we need to have those opportunities. Very, very important. Regarding sensory play and what sensory play is, we want to think back to our childhood and things we did, activities that would stimulate our senses: smell, taste, movement, balance, sight, hearing, and activities that help to facilitate exploration and naturally encourage children to use scientific processes while they play and create and explore. Sensory activities allow our children to refine their threshold for sensory input and helps the brain to create stronger connections to process and respond to sensory information. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but when we think about it, it does make sense. Sensory play helps to shape what children do believe to be positive and safe in the brain. There are 5 reasons and benefits. So we're going to think about this together. Number 1, to build nerve connections in the brain. Number 2, language development, cognitive development, fine and gross motor development. Also, social interaction. Sensory play helps all of this. Also, number 3, develop and enhance memory, just like we had those nice memories. Number 4, sensory play is also very calming for our children who might be a little anxious, who might be a little frustrated. And before I go to number 5, I'm just thinking of a nice activity. If you're home one day and you have a nice little table or a spot that's easy to wipe down, get some shaving cream and spray it and make sure it's nice and clean, and your little one has their sleeves rolled up, and let's get crazy with the shaving cream. Let's go wild, and let's move our arms and our hands and use our fingers and draw. And it'll be very calming. You can put on some nice calming music, and you can get a food coloring if you have it. If not, I'd get some. Put a couple drops of different colors, one color at a time, and then in the shaving cream, we can create the sky and mountains and mix the colors, and it's a lot of fun and it's very calming. Or just the music and getting some napkins from the kitchen and flying, touching the napkins like they're wings of a bird, just dancing a little bit. There's lots of ways to get calming music, even on your phone, I know. you could do that. Now, number 5, sensory play helps the attributes of language and understanding the world. Opposites, hot, cold, sticky, dry, because we've touched it. Instead of just saying it or reading about it, we've touched it, and it makes it real, and it has input, and it becomes part of the whole experience. And I know that takes work sometimes. I know it's work. I know it can get messy, but we do our best, and your children need it, just like you did. And that's how you grew. So I'm grateful we had the time together. I know I really moved quickly, gave a lot of information, but feel free to come to the library. We have a great section on parenting and development in the children's way in the corner in the children's department. Please come and explore that area. There are books on development, there are materials, very updated materials, and the librarians really work hard to keep that stocked for you with the latest information. Play with your child, have fun, get messy. These are the years to do it. These years will not come back. So years from now, your child will also remember, oh, I remember playing in the snow, and the crispy air makes me think of that time outside in Plainsboro when I was little. Oh, and the summer at the shore. They'll have those memories just like you. So have fun. Everybody stay well. Thanks for listening. Have fun playing. Bye bye. Thank you, everyone. We will see you another time in the near future. Be well. Thank you.